program join zo se na bon chavin welcome kin bolvin. Before we begin our program, Kaiman tuni ikiman sa diudan ditela simtla na kahine ding hin. Tuni sta moderator ding su ahile pa pamilun superintendent le nunga denu shalomi ahiin nunga denu hi in sunga buina niaw cha cha ni je chun ama mun hi keman ki hin lo ding hi kamin su ahile Mary haulai hi in kema ta zong tu tar ma hi Sunday school mihila pangka hi program details hile welcome speech superintendent pa hin special song Miss Aching, memory verse Miss Jennifer, Zole resource person pan presentation pa dahin manding ahin, vote of thanks to Madam Lalkim ahi, masa penin keman Bible chang simgatin pat na dingin, ka Bible chang sim zoting lepat na tao dingin nu hahat kahung tim ahi. Pathin thu na ngai zuti some numbers are som thum chang khana pat chang gi chan athupi pan pi ngai cha tawna ku khu sunga ko nin ka hin ku vi pakai ka taw na ngai zin lang o pakai pan pi ngai cha ka ko ngai zin ka chon se naw mel chi ding hile chun the mo chang lo ding a poi ka za bo chi ne divin ne ngai dam vin kiniam te in pakai pan pi ka nga in athu ka ta san zinge zan nga hon khova anga lel bangin ahi zan nga ho khova anga lel sang chun pakai ka nga lel zoi pakai chu lungse long lo hu hing nom zing ahi ta san in Israel pakai zin ami te Israel achon se chengse wa konin hu hingin te pathenin thu thing lo pi ta simu chu athune pam phat de ibu pi taw hen amen. Tun pat na tao ding inu hahat kahung teme.
Inawan hasampen ni zong leng ke man tao na hin nei nge ki ging chiu ti ka ki pa ve pakai na cha te ho dam na phat pha nei pe vin he ta banga pa Sunday school department te hon tunin ha a cha te midam ta lockdown sunga ki phom the hi zong le pakai tunin ha a program hong ki gong gal te ho boina imma amlo hena speaker ding pa hin chile cha te ho zo sian ha pha ni ha hoi nei mo sa wa phat pha te ho hin pan thia na ko ma ki pa thu khan se the za lo ka ki pa wen na min lo pi ka sang ta ka thang wa we pakai ka program te ho hi pakai a thon hi lo wa cha te tam ta adinga pakai o tu lai technology man cha dan te ho ka boi gam ta je wa ka phat chom pi the wa cha te hin minu mi pa ka bon cha wa dinga phat chom na hi chi program hi the in o speaker pa lo nang ma hen mang cha ki ho zo si jong pakai nang ma na thagau theng khat chi a nei mang cha wa phat chom na o hi chi ni ha program hong hi the na ding in phat the ne bo di vin tin ka phat te ho nang ma thagau thing pi na boina ima amlo hela technology ho mobile internet ho ki su mo na amlo hela apa na pat akse chan gi anang ma nei pi wa nei veng wa nei lord sa di vintin ka phate ho na khat thing a hen ki bop sa na min thing pana ai ho hing pu ka pakai Nazareth Jesus Christ na min thing ka pana ka taw hi amen.
Program magsun bangin chi sa sing witin na to a welcome speech superintendent pan aphat kilong repante
ki pa min tu ni tha ki za thena sana ko he ki za thena Mary ki za nam
ki zai
amasan Sunday school chapang hole teacher ho sting na minu mi pa ho na bon sawin nilha pha khen pin hi tun ha hi eho pakhat walzen Sunday school hung kai thailo nungova ta hung ki gong hi in ting loi pa jong thanom ten kaga teble hung no min tun ha resource person diu pa hi classmate an hi in kana kai khomo hin college sa ama jong hi mi phata hi in ama jong macha boina seilovin itip naw eno pi jin ama chang ki pa thu sei ki nevin tingle tun la jong hi hen ma bang win online class la tam hi ji chun 7:30 la vela hung lut ding loi jang omin ji chu tem chakhat phat hi iga su chol je mo hin tin age je ma hung lut ding ho iga nga na diwa ti hi in loi pa hi them khat introduction ga bowling katin ama hi two in one ti de ham full of certificate hizing in ama hin theology lang na simin BD Bachelor of Divinity and MTH in History of Christianity and chai BD jong chai MTH jong chai jin chizawa secular langa alut kinin secular langa master in clinical psychology ahikin in PhD in clinical psychology ahikin ama he very qualified more khat hi in ale experience work experience ga teaching jun my lecturer come head of department in history of Christianity at Philadelphia Bible College Udaipura anato hi in sting like clinical psychologist come assistant professor at People's Hospital and College of Paramedical and Research Center Bhopal ang nato hi in ay la tu to hi psychology department Christ University Bangalore ahi ato ahi ichu tungha resource person ding pa atemphat introduction ga bol hintin amazong hi golhang na lai wang chu hi ti yong chu ga hedin jale pa hi sa khawin tin golhang walle aina lai akul hinai poi ma he golhang walle hin tungha enjole kat presentation him bolding hin ade in chapang ho tulai Guwahati sunga lockdown sunga hi atam zo mobile addicted hi gam tawin sting la chapang ho zo siang internet khoi thi ngen chang hi ta je hin mi zo se addicted hi ta hi ji chun chi topic hi khen chu sa hi in aba na jong aman in se che hi le chi se lawa depression lang ho epi ho alo le anxiety ne ho adang jong workshop nei ding ino wang le abol the kirin aji chama hi PhD in psychology hi na ma hi ehil thema ma hi adang dang teng phat ene wa ama kimana hi le ama hi egoizing diu he tiang chu ga het sa hin tin ki pawmin mi tam pi hung zawin abana jong hung du ding jong na lain tun han lok tai ke man cha diu hi in tun lai trial ene lain si work zoom imanu hi response nu te elo le minu mi pa kon response ho ya ile abana jong hin gon jing diu speaker ding jong hi adang dang hin gon diu hi lo jong le class wise sa hi class ong hin la na diu jong ki gong hi in hin la china tinga chu minu mi pa kon response hi hoi lo ai le chun teacher hon ki gong thei lo hi in ji a chu ikitho khom diu angai jin cha te so ke hi in tu chung hung ki gong hi anyao lang ho ki ha hop lo hi na ji chu thei dom junior apat senior class ho hi kil he thei dom hi zin mo hung ki gong in ai la anyao lang ho ding jong hung ki gong tho in tin anyao lang ho ding jong ipyam khat competition ball de ha memory verse competition ball de ha melo la song competition ball de am tiong hung ki gong tho in tin ji chu minu mi pa ten ne ha thim di win ken sein ji chu ke phat man ji chi chan chi tan te ha ki pa
Min superintendent Phachung Pilo in tu ahin program chu chi pewtin special song Miss Achinga ko na ngai thla na ni te
Reckless Love by KWSG. spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so good to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. When I was your fool, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no word, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so good to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm done, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah, yeah. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, come after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till down, but leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, till you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Ka-keyboard head singit and ngay dong. So sorry. Itan si tante ko pat ipa eh.
Miss Aching langay ta ni ngay sa ziu na chungin ki patro ka season bana memory verse Miss Jennifer amun nung kilo talapante.
Bilha phanabon savin tunya ka Bible chang simli chu hi le Philippi mi te henga Paul le khathot bungli chang guba pat chang sigi chan imacha lungkham na ne hi helun ahin imalam zosia tauna le thum na mangin thangwa to thon na thum zo siu chu pathen het saun chuting le pathen lungmon na het na zo si khokal so kaya chun na lungu le na lungthimu Krista Jesua ohanding ahi Philippi mi te henga Paul le khathot bungli chang gupa pa chang sugi chan pathen Bible chang sim chu phathe buta han kipa e
program chi beginuitin to a resource person pan presentation phat hin mangding hin tunia i topic due to a hile internet addiction and related mental health issues a in chi hi a ho simlai te dinga topic point mo ta khat hi in ibon sawa gunsu ta inga yuwa presentation phat ki chai ting le question and answer session ne chai ne du hin question dong nom hon zong i do the hi tun resource person pan amun kilo talapan ti
ta ki pa in loi pa ominun song ang ki pa tu ka pongen je chu tu la ya chu epiha the church you know normally doesn't focus on the mental health of the people, right? They usually focus on the spiritual beings and then the spiritual well-beings of the people of the church. But you know, alongside the spirituality, let's go ahead with mental health issues which are prevalent in our day-to-day experiences in Kipato. They ka sa inhi chun loi pasong ang kipatu ka po ay la to psychologist song kitambe na wahin so when people need us we are there to offer our help na so tunay sayang chun ipiha Indian Association for Clinical Psychologists so chun national seminar chun national conference chun Armed Force Medical College Pune chun paper kana present in it's all event na hile Indian National Association of Clinical Psychology sacho Amy kachang se kahi jaso even ahila chan akitam nai lo ti di da nahi jaso nipiha I'm always there to help people those who are in it na so jisu ahi in abalet tun ha epiha ahung hilaya ahung zao ho yo se koma ka sainom chu hi ahile be feel free na be yourself and then feel free and then as I keep on presenting the slides and the topics you go and I mean you go ahead with the slides or you go ahead with the things that I'm pondering on and then you can gather your questions, right? You can gather your questions and then we can discuss all doubts and the questions at the end of the discussion, right? So then gohati so ipiha kedengang kapu kan amin na hung umta na lahin nanihet dio bang kapu ho kulu na kitian ama so to abs na umahi ahya kajang inum dio hi iti aso loi pa an saya hile kyang so kan no me pi hile phat ila sa ache sau sang chun slide so anapanu na by slide nan sial da sorry aku din na okay tu ni ani say ding so hile internet addictions for so ipiha a sentence kung kya say ding achun problematic internet addictions and related mental health issues ahi so ini say di ahi highlight so na chiu na ba next okay Layatunia ibham isay long penu so internet addiction in 1995 so it's a kinds of disorder ante ko hitain na to ai hon iboy pipi wang wahi there was a finding in the year 1995 that internet addiction was a kind of disorder, a kind of a kinds of addictions or a kinds of disorder aniketi hitain abanle tulaya ipia minumi pa ten ihet ning kan also internet kiti so ipia nang hokang lai bunga ipam cyber cafe ke to log in ke bora pung khat ke sai tai tia unga ke po do so hita tulaya so children are so connected to internet that from the time they got up from the bed and the time they go to the bed again, they are, accompanied by the so-called internet. So internet addiction. So it's a very common thing. So till tayong ahipo na. Next slide, next. To ahi ipiham. Introduction pa. Okay. Internet addiction ang kitita ngale why internet addiction is so important and why do we need to deal with internet addictions. The reason is when we are mostly onto these kinds of addictions, the so-called internet addictions, children's internet addiction ana sa hohi ipi kyo psychological findings also ipi anumam ta ahile amohi ipi ham ahin ko wahi they didn't have a quality of life and they have a very poor mental health. So poor mental health kiti so ipi ha to abang ka kanina sa ahile sa pang to game si kya chip sa ahile a memory ahoy kiti na up to some extent it might be true, but as per my findings as being a psychologist, I think internet addiction is more related to the poor mental health of children, mostly youngs and the teenagers now, and then it affects the children careers now, and then it affects even the family timings. India ding also findings that anabiya with it. Hello, bye. Introduction to anum like that. Okay. 2017 481 millions also internet anamang ubit na. About in 2018 500 millions ahi. About 2020 730 millions in internet here among India na, especially in India. And then in the year 2021 where we are in now, 829 millions of people in India are very familiar with internets and internet's addiction. And then why is it important to deal with internet addictions? The reason is because 75% of the people who are addicted with internets are suffering from depression. And then 57% of the people who are addicted with internets are suffering from stress and anxiety. And then if you have pang kindergarten up na class 5 san simhola akhamudo penso ibiham ti ahile. People who are addicted to internet in the age in between the age of those who are going to kindergarten and up to class 5 standard, it's all also internet addiction annaido bahia 100% sure ADHD na attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So chapang hi tim thai lo na internet na pi ala chun tim thai internet so mobile phone ham ahi computer hot na pi lo wa hi ahi la chun lang jeng na itia. So it's ADHD is very common things which are being found among the kindergarten and the primary school going children. So it's a very sensitive issues katahin minumi paten ini ha team ding kan so about 60% of the people who are suffering from internet addictions have OCD na obsessive compulsive disorder jong hi kinds of disorder about 66% of the people who are addicted to internets are having the characteristics of hostility, aggressions, and sometimes self-injuries. So, and mostly internet addictions among the high school going and the college going students, as per the findings, also they have a very poor or negative academic consequence here. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. Allah so internet addiction hi iphem itai even hi la chun ipiha there are types of internet addictions. Number one is cyber sex addictions, and then online relationship addictions, net comparisons, which is very common among the school and college going students, and then compulsive information seeking. This is also very common among the children's and the college going students, and then computers or gaming addictions. This is also very common among the youngsters, right? And then according to DSM-5, DSM-5 psychological measurement in fit is what is your height at the island? We have to measure, right? We have to measure our height with the centimeter or whatever it might be. So in psychology, we use DSM-5 to measure the levels of the internet addictions affected peoples, right? So how are they severe? How severe are they? So DSM-5 I measure right. That's so latest edition to 5th edition. Internet addiction hi substance abuse to takana ko in substance abuse it yale to lai eho langachon iphem low ne na ahilo wile zoo addiction ti hoto this sort of level kana hi a consequence by ti mothahi ti pa so inside na. Next slide, please. Okay, now let's see the causes of internet addictions, right? The causes of internet addictions. So internet addiction hi iti hung kipat ham na mi hi internet addiction ipiti hung hi them ti an the first also neuroanatomical factors ikiti neuroanatomical factors ang kiti teng han chen them ti haile internet addiction hi it's a kinds of compulsive gambling habits tabang hi na hi mi hi ichi addiction hung hi teng a hi haile ibrain hi kat hobli na ki hom do in na ilaya diagram ka hin pi hong hi lang hi frontal lobes ki ti na aban la ichi frontal lobes pa hi aha to ka mong frontal lobes la so laya prefrontal lobes cortex ki ti pa hi kin zo an xiao dang ye bai ho hi screen na muna utsana screen mo thiam
kimuya
ahile laya ikat 4 lobes 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 akiti in hilaya ko also ke za thelo wala ne hin sa wana lung sette laya ichi lobes ibreni hoblia ki hom do in hoblia ki hop to na pa cho amasang lang pinahi ichem frontal lobes akiti in frontal lobes apa amasapin pa ko prefrontal cortex akiti in pa ko internet addiction ho ding ai aha to ka pin tri ka dai laya chu eptm ja hele ichi prefrontal lobes kiti pa hi ipia poi mo pe na mitia hele ichi hin attentions it give you the characteristic of attention, and then decision makings, and then what you need to prioritize in your life. Now these are the things associated with prefrontal cortex of your brain. But when you are affected with the internet addictions, the problem is these attentions and then decision makings and what things to be prioritized, it hugely affect, and then children who are affected with internet addictions can't able to have these three characteristics in their prefrontal cortex. Now, so prefrontal cortex ahi, it's all learning, decision making, attention, and what things need to be prioritized in. You are something like abnormal among the normal beings. So internet addiction is very harmful here. And the second reason also biological factors. What is also na pitia? Agan wala pitia. Second also biological factor na. It's a biological factor koi mo pin ni kasi no min katso dopamine negative katso serotonin negative serotonin negative line spelling kan sun here serotonin negative na it's dopamine le ipiham serotonin so ipia pangham itya hele dopamine so ipiham it maintains the activities like the pleasure that you got from doing things, and then the functioning of your brains and other parts of your human organs, and then the way how you preserve things in your memories, in your long-term memories. And then serotonin so it hugely controls your mood, memory, and then processing, and then sleep, and then cognitions. So serotonins and dopamine are the two important elements that the human has. So what happens is when you are addicted with internet, the problem is the internet addiction destroy these two transmitters. So this it's a transmitter tabang kinahintin brain to human the other bodies of the human parts ahi amoy transmitter neurotransmitter it's a neurotransmitter pahi amahin hugely affect number one. When you are affected with internet addiction, you won't have a peaceful sleep. You will have a sleeping disorder, right? And then you will have a nature of forgetfulness, because your brain doesn't function properly in other things except computer, right? Or except internet, right? So these are some of the effects that we are dealing with, right? And then it's laya diagram anzoa is dopamine to serotonin, so it helps the functionings of the other body organs. But when you are addicted with the internet and any other forms of addictions, it hugely affects all the body functions which are being shown here, right? So number three is the psychological factors. So when you are affected with internet addictions, you have low self-esteem, right? And then you have social anxieties, you have depression, you have helplessness, right? So and then the only way to do away with all these low self-esteem, social anxieties, and depressions, you have to focus only on the internet again, because you have no other choice, right? So if you're addicted with internet addictions, remember that you have a low self-esteem, and then social anxieties is one of the characteristics, and depression could be one of those, right? And then and when you are addicted with internet addictions, the problem is if you have minumi pate ho ihet dingwa de kasa so ano so mitem hat kamu in de kasa so ipem itya hele isate internet addiction ahong hi wate nga hele mi to iti adjust ke bottom ti pa he anei the ji lo ta so if you have human beings are a social being kiti na. So koi machu achanga ki rathei lo hi mawa internet ahi addict on hi war base tiang wa hi ahile they are away from reality. So a reality war apan ayam hi gazam mongji with and hit ya so they can't face the war of reality, right? So when they can't face the war of reality, the only escape part they have is internet. So if you have mula paten in head cut you the so about the internet addiction hi iti ipiham iti evolve hading hamti pa ya anabya na how is internet addiction assets, right? So number one characteristic is preoccupations on salience, right? So and then number two is tolerance, right? And then number three is loss of self-control. Number three is withdrawal. And then number three also interferes with work or career. Number three parts of negative behaviors. And then next part of escape. It become the way of escape for the people who are addicted with internet, right? And then coming to the main topic now, internet addictions and psychiatric symptoms, right? So internet addiction also ipitabang psychological or psychiatric symptoms disorder number one also SSD agitiin somatization symptoms disorder agitiin. So somatization ang gititing ahile. It mainly deals with depression and anxiety. And then depression and anxiety but sometimes depression and anxieties are more painful than the physical pains that we are going through. So it is more painful, right? So and sometimes when you can't control the anxiety and depressions within you, it hugely causes you a physical pain itself. Number two na also OCD can say that obsessive compulsive disorder obsessive compulsive disorder when you are too much addicted with internet, you are having OCD. So OCD is accompanied by several unreasonable thoughts, right? Several unreasonable thoughts. Or you start fearing things that doesn't exist, right? You start fearing things that doesn't exist because you keep on seeing all those things in the internet, right? So unreasonable thoughts is the number one components, and then you start fearing things without seeing them, and you can feel the things which are not present with you, right? So you start fearing them. So these are the two components of OCDs, right? It's OCD agimnata so ahin deal bolding up in ahila it's out your OCD so they for example to laya pandemic laya so bacteria ho ahila black fungus or kisa so so it's all in mood it's the beginning of OCD. So situ oita adil pi ngai ki paso kan say no mai na abale psychological disorder hi ni na kyom kanin psychosis or neurosis ki na. So internet addiction comes under psychosis na. So psychosis also ipi when you are addicted with internet the symptoms of some of the symptoms are mental disorder like hallucinations, delusions, right? Which are some of the positive symptoms of schizophrenia, right? And then you may have a higher risk of self-harm. You wouldn't be afraid to do a self-harm in whatever it means. So these are some of the side effects of internet addictions in the fear of psychosis, right? So, and then the next one we have is borderline personality disorder, PPD. So this is also one of the very common among the youngsters which parent doesn't know, right? Awareness program mi sapang atamzo hi OCD anjo kasi OCD to BPD na borderline personality disorder hi sapang atamzo in anay hi mava ihotun as being a parent we are not aware of those existing disorder. That's why we can't able to identify them. So borderline personality disorder ne hotun daily life functioning by hinko an nitin hinko apa hi kisu thailowa atir khat ga umso suppose like mood swings di hota na or something like they cannot handle any kinds of relationship, they cannot handle any problems, and then when the problem comes or when you come across any kinds of broken relationship in the youngsters, I mean among the youngsters, they would go for a kinds of self-harms in many forms na. So parents on head ding adi sa atjo na. And then mood swing pang deal bo ding adi sa atjo how to overcome internet addictions. So these are some of the important things that we are going to deal with it, right? So how to overcome internet addictions? If you are being addicted with internet, then these are some of the points that you really need to apply in your day-to-day life, right? So to overcome internet addictions, the first one you need to do is identify the most addictive elements of the internet, right? Suppose, for example, if you are addicted with internet, then identify at least 3 elements like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or any other maybe porn, or maybe online relationship, or maybe gamings, or whatever it might be. At least write down or identify at least 3 elements which hugely affected you, right? And then paste it on the wall in front of your table or in your bedroom or wherever it may be. And then when you try to open the internet, try to avoid at least those 3 elements for at least 1 month, for at least a week, and then it will goes on, right? And then write down some of the most common addictive internet sites that you the most common or addictive sites that you have visited frequently. Now write down some you can write down like at least 5 to 7, and then you can rate them, like giving them the points of your addictions. Like, for example, Facebook, I'm addicted up to from 1 to 10 scares. You can give at least Facebook is 7 points out of 10, and then maybe Instagrams, and I'm addicted, so you need to scale yourself, right? Rate yourself, and then you can rate yourself as, suppose, for example, Instagrams is 5, and then or internet games, any kinds of games, you can write 9 out of 10. And then when you start rating yourself, or when you start scaling yourself with those addictions, you came to a realization that you are being addicted, and you really need to overcome this, right? And then when you are addicted with internet or any other kinds of addictions, the first thing is find people whom you can share and talk. Now, find people whom you can share and talk. The problem with most of the people here is they cannot keep the secrets that we have, right? When you go and share your secrets to someone, in the next hours, they would share it to another 2 persons, and then before you go back home, the secrets that you share with your friends will reach you again, right? So this is one of the reasons why people don't trust and don't share their secrets to anyone, right? So the best thing is you can find a counselor, right? A counselor in your areas. A counselor might be a pastor, or a counselor might be a church leader, or a counselor might be your Sunday school leader, right? Or Sunday school teachers. You can find them, and then you can ask them to give times for you, at least some 10-20 minutes, that you are going to share some of the very confidential thoughts, so they have to keep it. And then once they make a promise, you can share it, and then they would be the right person to help you, right? And then so the problem with the day-to-day life here is, you know, in most of the times, even now, because of the pandemic that we have, we use internet connection, right? Internet communications. And then the problem is, even though even me being a professor, being an assistant professor in the university, we took online classes. But after the online classes, what I advise my students is just to go and talk with some of the parents that they are living with, right? So they can have at least 30 minutes face-to-face talk with their parents or with their siblings or with their brothers, so that at least they can avoid the use of internet for at least 30 minutes in a day. So that could be the another components to overcome internet addictions, right? And then you try to limit yourself towards the use of computers and cell phones, right? And then you can write down some of the internet's websites that you were being addicted in a capital letter, and then paste it in your war, and then whenever you see it, try to avoid it, right? And then whenever you try to go for a gaming or any other addictions that you have, firstly, do your homework first, right? First come first. Your academic, your career comes first. So focus on your career first, and let the other things that you are, you love to do it might come second, right? So let academics and career come first, and the rest things come second, right? So, and the final things that I would like to share is keep yourself busy, right? Keep yourself busy. So when you keep yourself busy, the thing is that it gives you opportunity to overcome internet addictions, right? So these are some of the things that I would like to share. And then and lastly, you have to remember that internet addiction is not productive, right? It affects your academic, it affects your careers, right? And it affects your relationship with your friends and parents, your mom and dad, and your siblings, right? So why are we still doing it, right? Why are we still doing it, right? So it is not, profitable, right? It is not productive, right? So it could be the reason why you are not going to achieve your goal or purpose in life. So why are you still doing it? So let's stop these addictions and turn away from these addictions, right? Or before you got into addictions, it's the right time to turn away, right? To take a U-turns and then focus on your academic or your career first, right? And then instead of spending times with internet, you can spend at least some times with God in your prayers, right? Before you do your homeworks or before you go to the class, instead of opening your WhatsApp and other Instagrams, I at least pray and read Bible for at least five minutes before you go to the class or before you do your assignments. That would be a very good practices, and then that would be my advice, right? So thank you so much, and then conductor nu kumapak kita tayo na. Okay po eh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Dr. Swantak, for your wonderful and enlightening presentation, mostly on the negative effects of internet or social medias on society and individuals, and the impact it has on one's mental health, also how to overcome it. Kaiman zong personal to inkapat zumpiin, participants danghon zong apat zong video katasanin. Thank you once again. Tun vote of thanks, sorry. Question do nom niya umzingam.
Student ho ako na question do
Yes. You are free to share, right? So take it as a kind of class discussion, and then we can exchange our thoughts, right?
Hello, le nute ho pati ho dong ido no male Dr. Pudo tayo heto ahi. chateo isin trainable la dingwa ita banga chateo ho kha deham ti do no mo le do te he
Ele Dr. Pu, internet addiction ni khana pungizat wel internet ibat jingale addiction category a na koi jiu hamti categorization umam.
Thoe akum dung zui aki piana. Sapong ho hi at least if you have advice nung penjo here since it's at times of pandemic there we go mostly online, so at least would prefer from at least maximum 5 to 7 sti ho hi during these times of pandemic nga hi could be the most advisable katino.
5 to 7 hours.
Yes, in a day, because this days
online class
everything's are online.
Online class o internet addiction category a nabolo na.
Online class also ka bolo na. Tulaya to internet addiction pa if in the times of pandemic ay asim ha in na. So ki ho in sapong ho if college going student ho to adi if BSc ho ko BSc first year ho ko bon na ko amo in engage verbes part of ko at least we give kyo kun asynchronous to synchronous katibin na ko theory in practical pa ko assignment ka bi ichi assignment pa ko type to hina ka jit to sa na ka jit to sa upload ka bor sa to na hitiya ho ke bolo wa hele the whole day spending times with computers and other internets, it may be sometimes could be a problem where they can be used to it. It's also so we can use another techniques where we can give them a break from the internet.
Thank you.
Adang zingam dong nom.
Henry nun dong nomente Henry nun hindong lepante just come in oi boy student lang ako na jong do the he Royal set pagong chung nung Jennifer oi boy ang party
Adong nom om lo leken til khat hen dong nge ta tu la ya pong ho hik online class ima dong ha ne ba ting le ka sim na dong mobile ha man ba chu mobile avet ju le en ido la le kha sim da na di ba ai chu iti ki het pe di tam aki chem ha mi pt ham chu ke iti ki het pe di ha
just na tulaya if parents or seminar ake boteng la so if aboy na penu khat chang hi iti aso if sapong ho hi anisi if they are high school going ho le college going ho hi amho ona decision making pa hi ake boteng na logi ba hi parents need to involve so much in their careers ahi tulai ta hi na so if parents or in anisi if a routine hi subject is that so subject is that not to assignment is that a assignment to is that hours are covered you hi even pilo wa hi internet addiction hinding so be lam sa hi na iti also parent involvements in the times of pandemic upon the children's career hi kulai ta apoy mo pen hetin ka sai no iti also ipiha tulaya nula pate involvement ha video pa hi de ka sai ipiha adang wang ke pon ke ho kun ye piha ichi assignment ka pi ba ko hi hours 2 hours ka nen ga submit di 2 hours ke sai ha assignment ke sai hi ya ko ichi hours ke pi ho ko amo ko piha not pe lagi gi sa hi ya ho ke bol ji hi so ta bunga ko nula paten neu ko even la pi do ba hi de sa pang dinga hi piha internet addiction hong hin de nge belam ta in hong do eti ba hi ke mamu do rahi no question to answer kapi hinam.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Adang nalayam.
Question khat hindong nga ole. Doctor po ikat sa panghon hi game akit mo hina. At one game minimum 15-20 minutes ho to bang alud zin ken khat 30 minutes ho to bang sang alud zin na. So he continuously 15 to 30 minutes ho to bang online game akit mo hi ha totally bend di dan hila aboy hoy zabin so game khat pula hi ti to bang 15 to 30 minutes to bang alud zin ipihanu lepa khat hi na chu game ki chem hi in ga mu ati zen gi jong chu la hi the je hi ni khat na game khat la ki chep the hi ki tile chu chu ipi modem ole I to bang chan ge chu restriction control di ham
question juga ke pa hel question cho phải na tu la ya minimum party ho ha pina ni chang cho hi in your counseling Sarah, if you parents or counseling Sarah, say pino a hero had a counseling Sarah, I can say pin so he had Japon if you have internet online gaming so keep loading so nom loading a hin. It's a home keep nom in internet games so I mean be ahead of why alloy la pila so if you have they will be very outcast hikit the so we fix times na so as per your convenience you fix times and then Japon ho chi a fixed timing to wang so poker sa lo ni chip hat le games ke chip the games ke chip phan hi at least 3 to 3:30 or 3 to 3:40 and then after that you have to close your if you have phone or laptop and then you have to do your assignments or you need to go for a walk or something a timing o same ina pai ka tino na ben so ati borjeng a hi lawang jun if you have a hi the loading a hi wile a negative side effects so hung tam loading na is that so a time if you period pa so limited body in pai de yung kasay
kakipae
kaya yung kakipae
Adang taluham
Student on khat ben in dong leo pante Jennifer Grace student ho ko na Samuel dong mai Catherine also Daisy question khat ben dong wo last call
Ken question khat ka do no me
hindong
yes question to le internet addiction ta related hi poi hi wangan stress management na online classes ako na le stress management in general le dang ho mental health problems ho so ho dinga iti manage ham le really question to
nan say kit de kabina say kit de kahet the
kiti lo ha question to hi na stress management hin to online classes ako na le adang mental health problems ho iti manage ham le overcome the ham so
dealing mental health issues in online is one of the current challenges that we are facing. So in amabang online aso dear borket lawa hiya hila offline aso ahi take it lauji aso the best thing is to conduct it online by giving some practicals practical parts where the client should do it. Nah. And then the client should record the sessions which we are giving them to do it, right? And then they need to show us what are the things that they are performing as per our advice. So offline mental health deal boarding so online so news and prefer online so so assessment ho in a client on boarding ho na in at least report be api wa report ho be so in a kinds of written form I got submit ole so one kinds of dealing and in these times of pandemic so one of the the most effective ones one of the effective methods is to the church management in tulaya boarding the so notice lang so counselor the church need to play the role of a counselor. The church need to play the role of a counselor, and then the church are being responsible for the well-beings psychological well-being. So number one physical well-being, mental well-being, social well-being, and spiritual well-being. Now the four domains ko ang chito ting well-being church ni pompino so spirituality so well-being pamahin so social well-being to at both physical well-being to at both mental well-being to at both na so domains li so church and focus ki both yan hilabang sunday kasain na and the question to day kasain na tirka dong hin say kining katin mostly when the church play the role of a counselor now the most important things that we have to remember is as a counselor also problems we are not there to solve all the problems, right? We are not there to give all the answers of all the questions that we are being asked. The first quality to be a good listener. Be a good listener and then try to listen to the problems of the people. So they can it could be a big help for the clients. Be a good listener who came once you become a good listener, you know what to do.
Sir, Kenzong do nom hakanayin. Tutung pandemic nga he online hen abona hezong zinka classes pung 8:30 apat 1:30 chan aban coaching 2:30 apat pung sagi chan hen plus homework so hi kitle abona online hen homework kisan chu la pdf an that no hen online hen zan pung som na khat pung som ni lang chan chan kisim ji hen chu internet to phone addiction chu hi theilo momong hen cha chu any advice
Oh, it's true. If it is being related to your academics, so I would not say that could be an addiction. PhD kan bo lai wang so ipiha psychology also teaching clinical psychology kan bo ya ka specialization kan bo na so psycho oncology yana. So lekha bu so India so publish ke bo mong lo so gamdang abu ke bo tin ahila gamdang so iso thading le akat ipiha a foreign price to a shipping ano pi target ding ngayon di sanga so online library ho hoi ke so ahile aman jong de so yana PhD bo lai GRF so anatambe se lo hiya aban le ichi ipiha most of the times even half of the days and half of the nights I spend with my laptop and then to be honest, since I'm focusing on my careers, I should not call that as an addiction, right? So because I'm focusing on my careers for the betterment of my futures, so I could not count that as an internet addiction because you are building your careers as per the demands of the situations. So I will not be counting those things as kinds of addictions. But the best thing you can do is, internet screen maya umwating ada chun boy pen cho achai chen la kun ipiha in mind jong hina ana fresh i lo pa la kun ipiham short term memory a kona long term memory a information ki store pa kuna ani ki su ji lo cho che ki su ji lo pa la kun long term memory a information ki store cho retrieval process a ko recollect ki bor ji ha che pa ko an ki su chen ding a ko at least ipiha no offline timing kun at least you can do some physical workout ho wang ko nya khat wang i bor ja pa na ni kun it really helps a hi ka ti no me ne answer ka pm a hi ro ptm
ang kaki doc sorry
oh ka pa e kiam
pasal lang ho Samuel bagong chung nung pasal lang hom lo ham George kan til khat dong nge internet addiction ti hi itikum akum chapang ho itikum apan ai internet addicted person a ki sei thiam te kana chapang nei ho hin aniaw lang ho kum ni kum thumoi phone ki pita cho adon no atinga na ane aniaw lang ho that is for example 3 years 4 years ho hi internet addicted ki ti thiam di chamon phone YouTube avet no ana nu le pa ding ang nu cho chứ avet no ai la don no ta ki ha vet ngai ta lo in tin na le chong cho among internet addicted person ki the ham elo amo brain hong boy the dem tiang ni nu le pa tam ta boy ding ka ta sen sam khat nen do nen set ki the diu ham iti kuma pana hina
ni ke area wang zo hilo ya ka loi khat nen PhD kana bol laga zo adolescence ho ipam research na bor in ama chun adolescence ho ki ti tenga le to ipam nang sei ho cho hung hi yang de da nei cha cho ama in atam mu do pen cho most of the Indian parents na ipha cha te cho in ho chun ipam helper ki nei be se lo cho mi gamdang bunga chu ipha income in ta be se zero ja ko mothers becomes both the babysitters and the family the household maintenance on the hong his part la kun ipiha korte lai durga ipam durga bang ko tam ta kinai lo a his a cho ammo in chapang cho phone a pi na in the beginning it's fine but as per the findings of my friends also ipiha adolescents ho kun which phone po ahin thamun teng mai le ADHD ani no be so attention deficit hyperactive disorder na so ichi psychological disorder pa ho nei no mo ichi ADHD so chapang khan ai nei do kal se so ipiha it take times to deal with it ahi na ipiha chapang alang eti ma phone ipi tip ji ho cho ho hoi tan ipiha experiment ki por lang hele atam lo ko ADHD anhi me the e hola a cho hi le ipiha gyalangi ger ho lo ji wa cho yung kai the I want the best thing to do is keeping children from gadgets and other instruments as much as you can ti wang cho na ipiha de sa umpin cho tu lai ta hi ai cho chapang cho phone ipi phone hi le for today's it takes 1 hour and then for tomorrow's and then it goes on and then it also yeah part on chi part le phone to ipi le wai le kap ji tao cha so ita bang ang thun lo na dinga so chapang ho cho la e de dan na cho like the thelo hin tin na the best thing is to keep them away to hung hi pen dan he bai
ki pao me adam na laya
I'm sorry parents ka hero ja cho ka deal kha lo ja chu na so loi ho findings pa cho kan ba sai thu
last call hitai sapang ho ko na student ho dang person lo ai le channel lang chi du ti
Sir, question करते हैं sir.
namin ho se ji ta namin to
Kamin cho hele royal kit gen ya na. Ka question ko dong nong hele. Tu lai online class ki bozi ichun ki dong bang mangle na. Phone ki thamji pharle chi urge iti ka control dingam ti ka bui cho ke ong sir ima tham khat chi solution nei pi thele chun ka de cho ke.
Na boy na penju ipi na.
How to control your urge na ipita you're constantly using the phone na chu chi urge ki ti chuna meaning the urge says to momo na chu iti ki control ding chu ham khat nei sei pi le na
say na ipiham na class RC one day ahi nikan ahi is that RC class an na nayo
4 to 5
4 to 5 hours, right? So what do you do after the class hours? You still keep playing with the phones or?
Breakfast, then if I have any work then.
Okay, so do you have your own private phone or gadgets that you can log into the class anytime?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you do with your phones after you finish your class?
If free, play games, then do my homework.
Okay. So let's say, what do you want to become in life?
Me?
Yes.
Actually, to be honest, I don't really have any aim. I just wanted to do what God wants me to do. That's all I wanted to do.
Okay. Let's say yes. Now what we can do is, let's say you have 4 to 5 hours of class every day, right? And then your gadget is with you, and then you're free to use. That is the best platform where you can challenge yourself, right? So it's something like a player with the ball in the playground, right? So he has the right to pick the ball or the right to leave the ball without kicking it, right? So you are in a better platforms comparing to the other peoples who are from the other parts of Northeast India, right? So most of the people doesn't have their own private phones. They have to use their parents' phones, and then once they finish, they have to give it back to their parents again, right? But now you're in a better platform that you have your own gadgets. But the thing is that misusing it for the wrong things would be another great challenges, right? So firstly, remember why you have a gadget, right? Why you have a phone. So the phone you have, use it with a purpose, and the best thing could be use it timely, and then once your work is over, and then yes, you can play your games. I won't stop you, but limit the times of playing your games, right? And then once your time is limited, you can set an alarm, right? You can set alarms that in between, for example, just for an example, 7 to 7:45, I'm going to play games, and then after that, I'm going to do that. So just try to maintain the time fixations, and once you start crossing it, in the next days, it goes on like a flowing water, right? So you should build a dam where you can stock all the waters and use it for the purpose, right? So I think it hugely depends on you, and the best thing is you have to control the times that you spend with your gadgets. And if you can do that, I think there will be no other problems that you're going to face. Am I answering your questions, or do?
Understood. Thank you.
Very palato le China ding lang no tawte.
Question and answer session sa numa mazingin na program hi azon alam nai tawitin tun vote of thanks saying Madam Lalkim hat kagapin hi.
Pathin in Patay Bovin pandemic laya yung hitabanga Sunday school lamkai nan superintendent chule teacher ho kilungto na zalin tamang program ina juma ko na ibol thisi on pathin katang vain chule tunia resource person na pang Dr. George pathin Patay bo na sang zala I hola ang thisi in chule angai dan question hong tampi ing share page on ama chunga ki pathui saving aba na jong e hodi ngai chat phat ma hung pan pe ki di jong ite moving ahi chule thuni program lotin sa mute tampi jong hung pangin chule Sunday school teacher ho jong phat hoi sela hin la thei zeu bin amina amin hung chong ho superintendent pa hi chule nunga Mary haula in ma ho jong seong chungang ki pathui saving hi tuni program chu ade de emitela ahin hijilanga psychological clinical psychologist hi ho ho ma zen line e ho hin psychology lang hi isimbe povin ahin la problem day to day life a problem asa pen khat zo hi gidin tuni ahin jawa cho hin don buddhi katile hin question in bol katile kadin do phat kain lo tho di je kain say pon Mr. George in an ay na ngai pi lang kenong tulkat ka share nom cha hile ade de in emi te hi cha te hi iki brought up now zan chom be in hin dan mong hi ki sei ngai lo na hi atam je ka sa in at sang pi hin ho na cha pang ho anu ten Sunday school lo ten anu ten ako maga ato sa sei ngai ta sa ko hi thelo je kun atam zo kun anu ten cha te thip na ding in mobile game ho in sungai ki chip sa un cho zo hu dei mo ka sata jeng in Dr. George in zo tiang la ipi ibol thei ham chong chin sei in ti tham kat in reply ki lang ka tin ho in sung pathian ho na ina yong aboi la hi lo le ne di po ga ki pe jeng ai lo le mobile la game ho ga ki chip sa ahon sunga thip na ding po hin athip na ding po cho hinan hin la hi ama dinga chi sa pang dinga a mental build up to ichana ahin in to ahong su se di tam chi pa chu gel wa ki bol he tam pi ka sa in ani na in Dr. Negin Pau Adam Lai 2013 na KWS Guwahati hung visit at so question khat ana say chu til khat ana say chu kalung tim na mang point ai mi cha te hi gel kho ipiha tulaya chi na kito to kito dong zui hin ha pho loading ti ho ha say loading ti ho hin la ma da say chi cha pang chun ai ho context sa ku ki context sa say hin cha pang chun adinga pha ke het lo ji in say kit jang avel vela say de hin a ye chu ma ho chu million jeng zo mi kan reminder a ki pe sana chu ki gel do a hin reminder a ki pe lo wa ki gel do lo a chu ti ala chapang adinga pha ki het lo lai ho chun mi pi thing hi lo lai ho chun ai be say ya hi thei ding tho hi la hi lo je chun ke nong chi point topic hi psychology jang lang to ki sai hi tho je chun ka pom ma jengin aye chu chapang ati ta chu every time reminder pe an chu ti bol na khati bol le kasim di wo prom ki bol hi di kasat hobin ole nang itinagyalam chong chu nang mangya gyal danong khat hin tin tin la tu chi chu ke lang ako na question ni ka share hin tu ni Sunday school cha te tam pita no hung pangubin ki pa mama ka sa in ting le tu lai pandemic lai jong i boy thei mama ovin online ako na le ka sim loi itabang phat iman thei ho ki pa ka sa in mi tam ta in hitabanga pandemic sunga hi on internet connection no muzo lo adei banga ka song la thei lo Guwahati te adei de KWS Sunday school te iwang phama ma je cha te zo se online na class la thei ho zo se na bon chavin pathian phat thei bo na chang chi un lang chu le tu ni speaker pu na sei bangin internet man je them khat ki hiluitin hi chi hil pin adi hilo pandemic sung hi jong le busy tai kwai the pau ki pa pi zo a phat na zo hi hamang chau tin overa access aman loading ti pa keno kain sei nom hin Sunday school superintendent pu ofalin kita bang program asanga pha jong hin gong che ding in chule atunia hung pang minu mi pa hin tu ade in Dr. George pathen phathei bon na changin lang namasanga jong nunga mel hoi ta guhati jong tamin hungin lang tabanga chu phathei bon na ji hoi ta nung mu ding ong kain bless ahi ka ki pa in san chu ta hen
ki pa me question chu ikhat kain sei ding an de ham
Athem ka elaborate mo tong George. Tom ta.
Ikhat tua ipiham wala ipiha ka article tua ka jit nu ka pin pa khuna the mother of assessment ka jit pa khun chi ka findings pa ko ya hele ho hi ipiham inu ipa khang ke just for an example aga piding ha cho kanu le ka pa cho lo mi cho and then kanu le ka pa cho smartphone ipiyang ani he khat nai lo kanu le ka pa cho ipiha mi ani aw pa na ke ngani siu pa na thing hanga lo ni ho ba ban le chang hin ke po ba pham chang ke su tho cho ale e ho khanga chu ipi hung hung am jai le rice mill hung ta na and then the shift changes was we have a telephone pham landline connection pa na to landline connection pa cho inei so ahile cha cho asif hung do ke pa cho landline connection na khanga hung ma le khain sim do ho chen ipitem ahile gamcho ma ko na ipem gamcho ma ikhat na to hen ki ma gamcho ma hung pan ta so ahile chu ho chen ipem the most confusing part is we confuse number one Christianity and modernization Christianity and modernizations and then we confuse about modernizations and westernizations so he got confused panta ahila wa hila iphem kin kana nei lo ho chu ka cha ten ne ti ho ta bo na ni chi ideology pa hi ang so do hai ni cha chu aphat yang tam na in tin aphat lo na a ke mu do ho chu hi a hila kin ka nei lo pa chu ka cha ten ne han itia I cha te chu de chu I bor pi wa khang la ya chu iphem bonjong ahia jong ani kin zo lo cho abale ichate khanga chu ipha ka chapa iphem iPad ka cho pi ding abala iPhone 7 ka cho pi ding ti hona ahila wa hele school kaina ding a college kaina ding a car ka cho pi ding ti ka nei lo zo se chu ka chapa nei han te ibor ahile ichate ho he ike sem thrit kam de ho ta hiti a chu iphem de ka sa pen chu ahia hele hiti a ibor sang chun ipha Christianity pau to hin ipiham tua ihin dan pau hi culturally and rooted ki masan na chou teng a hi de ipiha ipathin jana pau hi neu khat chingai sangjat le bang chun de ka sa in e ho a hi ipiha pathin chu ikamin in seina ben amma bang practically a chu enjoy lo phar wa hi le masanga chu paneu lai de a chu min pulpit a ka lo ding ole akyang ko ni kisu tha kalu en tulai so ko man pulpit hoi za ta ko hoin sunga ke za lo hi ta na ti a cho I pathian ho pa ni ho ke za dom han lang hi le I piha am a ko na chi no ho bang cho neu ba be bang cho ap be di hu chu de ka sai ban le chapang tulaya psychology so en a ha se pin cho hi a hi le chapang hi I piham angai chat kal wala thil hi bor pi na ama in angai chat dum zu ya bor pi ding angai chat kal wala till he bought me it's angai chat kalwa til him bought me tenga hele very depending hung hita so very dependable hung hita so very dependable hung tenga hele e piham amale ma tenga hung ding phat so hung gam hading hi ti pa he psychology of finding ka cho hi aban le piha anjo achapang follow thua he piha ke ho yong ipiham kumsi lahin faculty appraiser ka nei faculty appraiser IP ke boram tia hi le student ho hin tua hi M.Phil ho ka ta bi masanga M.Phil ho namna M.Phil ho jang na zau si PhD, M.Phil, and then ipiha MSc and BSc ho hin faculty ho evaluate abol abala faculty ho ya khat evaluate iphem de ke bo to zia nitia cho hichi evaluation form pa cho HOD pa ko ma chia HOD pa hin kum khat faculty ko ni a ko zia hichi appraiser ho sim tha jin cha cho imit mo nang ki het imit the nang ki het na so there's a point to be improved and a point to be proud of na nitia cho chapang ko khau ka yong ni ipiha sapang chu mihem sa kibang po na we have a kinds of personality which we inherit from our parents na which we inherit from our great grandfathers yung thin cha chu thamkhat chu pho asu di the yung amin thamkhat chu hila su di the yung amin thamkhat chu jema su di the yung amin so ekat iphem apha to kilom dung chu ya chu mi bible jeng jong iphem sei ngai lo hela angong vai put de pa chu achunga mo tum chu ding hi na ite bonga chu chapang su di pha he apha cha isu di lo wa hele konung te nga hele anjo in an sei bonga chu ila lal te nga hi hele ichunga hi amho in lampur hen kai di ke pa chu nya ka sei do no mai ka ke pa
program azon alam patavin tun superintendent pamilun kung sain chom pharin manding hin zo le closing prayer pa haupu in bopedi min kahung te min hi kema song tu ni conductor kapan mo ni ani chan na hi in conductor hin conductor kapan kasei hil kasei val zong le pathin le mi pi anga ngai dam ko hung tu min hi tun superintendent pan amun kilo
Ipamin Dr. George Loipa George Sontak in waita presentation elo workshop NAP even available in kipatu 7 tulai physical workshop kini lo hizi chun presentation kipete ipon kenta do simu chiwam certificate of appreciation Timothena Mary
Timothy
sihi email ai thot du hintin aman ani ki print thodi sumro sen dal he ma hen e ho chu soft copy thot du ma hen na ki print di dan he sim doing kate Cookie Worship Service Guwahati Sunday School Department certificate of appreciation. This certificate of appreciation is presented with gratitude to Dr. Swantak G. George Whitehay in recognition and sincere appreciation for imparting his knowledge and insights as resource persons on the topic internet addiction and related mental health issues at the KWSG Sunday School online workshop on June 4, 2021. Signed, Pamilun Kungsai, Superintendent, KWSG Sunday School, Lieutenant Colonel Jamal Guite, Chairman, KWS Guwahati. Si email ham khanen ke thon indin aman ai thaidan na ani ke pina frame ni kisim di tante ke pawe itu ke patante
closing su ke nei ngan che dan ha
hin ya pa
okay ai le aw namang yeng tiong lo pi pen ka pathin nangin kataw naw na sangin tun la online na ki man cha na ho isa kai moina thil tam pio ta nei chum khanwa resource person pa hi nong ki gon na panga chule angai ding ho teacher ho hin chule student ho hin ki pa ta phan ho kaman khom thei zalun namin kan thang wa ni ka ki hil no ho ka si do ho zo si ka chin wa khin ko wa pachu ma kaman cha thei na di win nangin pa thei nei bu pi ulang adin Dr. Yorsong nangin an to na pa thei buin chula hen na chi na ho nangin na pi ho he society adinga mi tampin phat chom pin na di win jong nangin mangcha ding kong ta bani tu ni la Sunday school in chlo oi mo jong na mun chi nang in pin na thu ki se ko hi ipi hi ka he thim the wa kalia ka sim na wan lang chule internet na ka bui pe ro yong la ka gel do jing wa hi chi addiction na ko na ai ka pam pe thi na divin lagaw pan ngai chan khong taw ni ka bon sabin khom na mun chi nang in lagaw ni weng lang adi dia tu line nai si phalwa ko na ni weng wa dam ta nang in nei chin wa thulala hong no ma san school bo yong resume ka bol divin pan pin ngai chan chung lo si tu thangwa ma pakai sum na khong taw hi amen.
Amen. Thank you. Kipaume, all the participants.
Everyone, Mangpa.
George, thank you.
Kipaume bye.
Nangamat chung ngagop nin si malin thak ngain te.
Thank you, George.
Bye. Certificate to frame and the same thing on. Nang zuan sumna sen ni dante. Okay, all the students, thank you so much. Daisy.
Thank you.
Jennifer, Aching.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Okay, and next thing. Kipaume. Bye everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.